and then it should all be fine. So that they run like simultaneously, basically. If that makes any sense at all.
Is it because what's called when we're talking and I'll sometimes press X and go straight into the race while you're doing the track map and everything?
Sometimes, yeah. I mean, it's more to do, to be honest, with the stream quality rather than anything else. Because me and Kieran did the stream on Tuesday, and it was all fine. But on my end, apparently, it was quite buffering and lagging a little bit as well. And that's why we didn't sync it up. And then last night, it was absolutely fine because we synced it up. And yeah, it needs to be like that, I think.
How do we sync it up though?
Tom will probably. It's just literally press spectate at the same time within the lobby. That's how you do it. So I'll count like into 3, and then I'll be like 1 or 3, 2, 1, go, and then on the go we'd press spectate at the same time.
Right, I get you.
What round is it tonight? Is it round 6?
Yeah, round 6. Can you believe it?
Round 6.
Season's flying by.
Oh, I haven't put season 2 in. Shite. Season 2.
I didn't
6.
either.
TTML Division 2, Season 2, Round 6, Britain. It's Britain tonight, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Britain. Yeah. Alright, James, how you doing, bud?
Right. Start broadcasting. Lovely jubbly.
You might want to jump on over to the League Racing TV channel, James, because this is why both me and James Head are streaming on our respective channels.
I thought you were talking to me there.
No, I got one of the Esports Wales lads in my chat saying good evening.
Yeah, League Racing TV, that's where you want to be. I'm going to be like the lead streamer, and Mike's going to be the call comms. So get along there. The stream's going to be starting up in about 6 or 7 minutes. Not too bad. I got like 3 viewers coming through on my end as well last night, which was really strange. It was massively strange, and I don't want to send them a HMP Belmarsh a documentary that I've been watching on YouTube. I'm going to send them by stream. Copy link. Right, I'll do a speed test as well, just to make sure everything's fine on my end. It should be.
There you go, James. I just put the stream link in the chat. Well, the channel link in the chat.
Yeah, the video's actually up for Division 2. It should be TTML Division 2. It's bound to go live about 10 to. So it'll be fine. About 6 minutes.
Yep. It gives us time to chill, have a little chat, and
It does. What was I gonna think? Do you fancy taking the hot lap tonight?
I don't mind. I can actually get out now, so
yeah, because I normally do the hot lap, and it runs quite poorly, I think, from my perspective. Because I've been watching back in previous Thursdays, and I'm just introducing things in. But I might hand it over to you to do our hot lap.
Yeah, you can do it. What's it called? How am I bringing it in?
So you would, I would just say, we'll do the introductions. I'll introduce you in, and then before we run through the standings, we'll run through the hot lap, so you can commentate over it. So I'll be like, "Here's Mike with the hot lap around Britain," or something like that.
Okay, and who's done the hot lap? Oh, no wonder you wanted me to do it. You don't want to butcher the name, did you?
I don't.
Combi.
No.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go combi.
Combi, that's what I call them. Good evening to Tom, if that is you tuning in. How are you doing tonight? Hopefully you're doing well. We've been announced, not lockdown, but the tier system's coming in, and the North East are in tier 3. So where basically everything's going to be basically open, including schools and universities and things like that, and yeah, it's terrible. I think it's one of the worst decisions the government's ever made, to be honest. It's not too bad for me because I'm working from home, but it's just ridiculous. I mean, you've got 3 places in tier 1, and that's 1% of the population.
Yeah.
In England. And the rest, the 99% are in tier 2 or 3.
I mean, here's the thing, it's like, the tier system just doesn't work.
It doesn't. What good does it do?
And another annoying thing is, like, the tier systems, people are, like, in, like, tier 1 areas, like, well, there's no cases around here, why are we going into lockdown? Like, you know, this is not fair and everything.
Yeah. Yeah, I see that point of view, but the thing that gets me is they've announced this Christmas bubble. And this Christmas bubble is including 3 households. So you can travel to Wales, for example, and mix with 2 households there, and you'll have 3rd household. Now, the thing that gets me is, we're going into a tier system on the 3rd of December.
Yeah.
Then, 2 weeks later, they're taking this review on the 16th of December. And then a week later, and then they're putting in the Christmas bubbles. And then we're back into lockdown for the new year. We're back into system for the new year. Which is ridiculous. It's as if they think the virus is going to take Christmas off. It's not. It's as simple as that.
'Tis a season to go without COVID.
Oh my god. It is terrible, honestly. It's absolutely terrible. Tom, if you're listening in, by the way, to any of our streams, give us a cue of when you want us to sync the streams in on our end within the lobby, because we're both in there now. Sure, you'll give a good sign, I think, in the chat. And I'm having a look. And Wadema is also hosting tonight as well. Gary has been fired from hosting duties, as has Sway, because Sway last week it caused a few issues, and we want to limit the issues, so that's why Wadema is now in as lobby host. And Gary did want to host, but last night in League 1 of Esports Masters League, as he just joins the lobby now, his connection was terrible. And they had to restart 3 times in League 1.
That's terrible. That's terrible. Gary needs to sort his internet out.
Yeah, no, he doesn't need to sort his internet out. He needs to just sort whatever it was. 7:51 he wants us to do that, Tom. So 7:51 we'll do the syncing of the streams. And it'll be about a minute from, because I've got it on my iPad, and my iPad's pretty much spot on in terms of the time. So I'll keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, you have to count me in for that, because I got no accurate clock. They're always off by a few seconds.
when I say 1, then press that button. I'm thinking.
Right. Well, I'm hovering over it, ready anyway.
I've got my controller on top of my washing basket at the minute. I'm literally commentating like this, and I'm sitting on the edge of my bed next to a radiator, which is very, very cold. It's not great. There's my namesake.
Multitasking. James is doing commentary and the washing at the same time.
I wish I was. I wish I was doing the washing at the same time, but the washer's downstairs and I'm upstairs, so that's impossible. Unless I carry the screen around with me, a 50-inch television, just like zooming in to the action. That's impossible. But anyways, I'm looking forward to this. It's Britain. We had 4 VSCs.
It says 51 for me. Does it say 51 for you?
It says 51 for me. Right. Let's get this synced in. Tom, if you are ready, give us a thumbs up in terms of us syncing up the streams. Probably take a couple of seconds to come through on his end. But he should be fine. We should be ready to go. And then what we'll do, we'll get straight into it. We'll go like 10 seconds and everything like that after we've done this. He's put the thumbs up. Right. Are you ready, Mr. Mike?
Yep, count me in.
Right. Here we go for the first successful task of tonight. 3, 2, 1, go. That was well off.
I went right
That was
on
about
go.
a second delay there. Tell us if I needed to do it again, Tom. It should be fine, I think. It should be fine. But you never know. You never know. Oh. Jekyll's in, Cowboy's in, Cam's in again. Jumpy Machine's not here yet, and he's in the standings, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Tell you what, that's not good. That my phone battery is actually just come up saying 15%. That's not on at all. Grab the charger.
And we have to do it again. Right, unspectate. Right, are you ready again?
I'm plugging my charger in. 2 seconds.
Okay.
Right, I'm ready when you are.
Right, 3, 2, 1, go. That was well off again. Should we redo it again, Tom?
Were you off?
No, I clicked when I said go, and you clicked after. Yeah, that must be a little bit of a delay on your end. Tell us if it's all fine, Tom. We're going to be spending all night doing this. You watch.
3, 2, 1, go.
All they're just going to be hearing is 3, 2, 1, go. Oh.
Right, how much is the delay then? Because if
less than half a second, I would say.
It's going to be tricky for me to kind of predict that then.
We are good to go. Right, it's all fine. We don't need to do it again. Luckily, we don't need to do it again. Right, I am ready to go.
I am also ready to go. I got the hot lap queued up ready.
Yeah, Mike's doing the hot lap, by the way, Tom. So what I'll do, we'll do the normal introductions. I'll give Mike a little bit to speak. And then what I'll do, we'll go straight into the hot lap. So just so you're aware, that's what we're doing. A little bit of a change up because I think some of the syncing, me introducing it in doesn't really work. So Mike's getting an extra role tonight of doing the hot lap. But with that being said, good luck to everyone that is tuning in. Good luck to that one person that has just tuned in on my end as well. Go watch League Racing TV. Should be live now. And without further ado, 10 seconds. Oh, no. Stop. Yeah, I've unspectated there.
Oh, no.
Oh. Crap. Right. 10 seconds. Good evening, everyone, and welcome along to TTML Division 2. We are here tonight for round 6 of the championship as we take in the home of British motorsport, and it's the Silverstone circuit for the British Grand Prix. My name is James Hay, going to be taking you through the action as always, and joining me in the commentary box, it wouldn't be a Thursday without him, it is Mr. Michael Edwards. Mike, how are you doing?
I am doing fantastic, James, and what a track to go racing at. Silverstone, changeable conditions are always up in the air. It couldn't be a better track to go racing at.
It couldn't be a better track to go racing at, and without further ado, I will hand the mic over to Mike, quite literally, and take us through a lap of the Silverstone circuit.
Okay, so getting the hot lap underway now. And for this hot lap, we'll be jumping on board with Combi, who will be taking us around the almost 5.9 kilometer circuit here at Silverstone, with such infamous corners as Stowe, Copse, Magus and Beckett, and of course the infamous turns 1 and 2 of Abbey and Farm. So getting us underway as we run down into turn 1, taking the inside curve, 50% on it, 50% off it, cutting it very nicely there as we go into turn 3. I believe that's the village section, as we try to unlock the corner there of turn 4 to open up the Wellington Straight, which is the first of the DRS activation zones, as we go into Brooklands, taking a very late apex there, and now into Luffield, where you drift wide and then come back in to go down the old pit straight there as we go through Woodcote on the run down now towards Copse. Flat out this year in these cars, and taking a lovely line through there now into the infamous Maggots and into Beckett. Very important to attack these corners, as you can gain a lot of time and also lose a lot of time as we exit out of Chapel down the Hangar Straight. DRS wide open once again towards Stowe as we look for the braking zone, which is just before the 50-meter board through Stowe there into Vale, as we avoid the sleeping policeman there on the curb, and now into Club as we cross the line there, and that is a lap there by Combi around the Silverstone circuit.
Yeah, Combi, of course, being a Division 1 driver, you saw him, I don't think he raced actually on Tuesday night around here in Britain, but about that lap was really clean, really quick, and that's what we should be seeing from these guys out on track here tonight within Division 2 as well. Coming into the driver's standings then, Mashiro leads on 109 points, with Gary in second on 93s, Badema in third on 88. He's now our lobby host here tonight. Seb is in fourth on 82, with AJ's teammate in fifth on 80, Jay Cullen sixth on 77, Matt Tibos in seventh on 62, while Congan in eighth on 55, Tionison on ninth on 53, and Sway in 10th on 52 points. The rest of the field are as follows: Alonso, Corboy, Ryan, Adamako, Trippy Jeff, all scoring more than 25 points. James is in 16th on 24, with Nathan and Powdy on 20 and 17th. Rostro in 19th on 17, and F1MG in 20th on 11 points. And looking at the standings, Mashiro obviously dominating affairs out in front. He's got a 16-point lead coming into tonight, but Gary is right on his tail, especially after his result last week.
Yeah, Gary has been doing fantastic in recent races, and honestly, even though Mashiro's got that advantage right now, that could all change by the end of tonight.
It could indeed, and I think Gary obviously has got the momentum. Mashiro was quite unlucky last time out. The gap is only 16 points, and as I say, constructor standings even closer. There are 10 points separating the top 3 teams in the constructors. It's McLaren who lead on 171, Alfa Romeo in second on 165, Mercedes in third on 161, Renault fourth on 124. They're not too far off the pace either, with Red Bull in fifth on 96, Haas in sixth on 80, Williams in seventh on 73, Racing Point in eighth on 72, AlphaTauri in ninth on 44, and Ferrari in 10th on 28 points. And we are about, it looks like, to get ready up from our drivers out on track. We should be ready up very soon indeed, and you should be seeing a lot of action. But with the constructors, actually, McLaren Alfa Romeo Mercedes, all separated by 10 points. It could come down to real consistency out on track for these remaining few rounds.
Yes, absolutely. And what we've seen so far is that the Alfa Romeos have been very consistent. So, I mean, Alfa Romeo could be doing very, very decent here, I think.
Yeah, Alfa Romeo could do well. I think they're represented by both their drivers, Badema and Jekyll, out on track. We are now about to get going in towards qualifying, and we cannot wait for you to bring you the British Grand Prix here tonight. 18 turns do await these drivers out on track tonight, and what an unbelievable privilege it is to bring you the action, of course, here once again around the Silverstone circuit, and you should see some brand new tyre graphics as well within this introduction. But without further ado, let us get started. Let us get in to qualifying. Well, welcome along to TTML Division 2. We are here for round 6 of the championship. It's the British Grand Prix around the Silverstone circuit here, where it takes in 2 borders, of course. There are the selected compound of tyres, the C2, C3 and C4 compound. The softs, mediums and hards are here out on track tonight, and that's what the guys will be using around this 18-corner circuit. My name is James Head, of course. Mike Edwards alongside me in the commentary box. We now take you through a lap once again. 5.8 kilometres in length with 18 turns. The 2 DRS zones out on track. 1 down the start-finish straight and 1 down towards the Wellington straight and then 1 down towards the Hanger straight. I got confused with my straights there. 18 turns awaiting the drivers out on track. It should be fascinating. And the first big point that we can come on board with, it is dry out on track, and the first cars will be leaving very soon indeed.
Yep, bone dry here at Silverstone for qualifying, and Joe, we have mentioned before how easy it could be to have wet weather conditions here, and obviously it could be dry in qualifying, but absolutely chucking it down in the race as is typical British weather.
Well, we saw changeable conditions actually in Division 1 qualifying. It was intermediates throughout, and the guys started on the fresh set of tyres. Volakongan is the first out on track like he was last night in the Esports Masters League as well. Tina doing a good job last night in the Premier Division. Gary is out on track. Cam is also out on track just in behind. I'm aboard with Gary for now. But this track, 18 turns await these guys out on track. And the thing about this is you've got to have a balanced setup, because otherwise you're going to end up either invalidating your lap or possibly spinning.
Yes, absolutely, and I mentioned it in the hot lap just how crucial it is to hook up the Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel section at the end of Sector 2, because not only is it very easy to just take a little bit too much curb and invalidate, it's also very easy just to take the wrong line and just lose a lot of time for it.
Yeah, definitely, and I think through Maggots and Beckett's as well, if you take that a little bit too quick, you're going to be invalidated for Stewart. We're on board with Gary, but we'll switch to Volakongan out on track now. He's the Haasman about to come through Stowe, which was, of course, the first couple of corners back when this circuit was, before it was redone back in 2009. And then the first race in its inaugural running was held in 2011. Volakongan, though, ran the final corner. 18 turns await him out on track, and he now begins us off out on track. And let's see what the Norwegian can do as he now runs up towards turn 1. Not looking too bad there through Abbey and then through Farm. Yellow flags in Sector 3. Don't worry about that at all. So now breaks just off the 100 metre board. Locking up in towards turn 3 through Village and then through Aintree at turn 4. And then through the loop, at turn 4. Then through Aintree at turn 5 and onto the Wellington straight, where, of course, the international circuit blends in with the Grand Prix circuit here. And Volakongan's first sector looking down is a 27.116 through the first sector as he comes through Brooklands and Luffield. Not looking too bad through there. Wants to take the wide out line and deep into the corner on exit. Volakongan around the middle's part of the track there. So he now comes through Woodcote on the run down towards the old turn 1. Pretty much halfway through a lap now here at Silverstone. Of course, Northamptonshire and Buckinghamshire, I think, are the two where the two counties where this track intertwines in as he now comes up towards Maggots and Beckett's. Flight through there where Kvyat famously went off in 2020's running of the British Grand Prix. Now through the end of Beckett's, then through Chapel and onto the hanger straight, through the middle sector to 101.7. Not too bad through the middle sector. We're seen around the midpoint time from Division 1 out on track so far from Volakongan. With 14 minutes still to go, plenty of times for these guys to improve as he comes through Stowe. Now on the runner through Vale and then in towards Club Corner, through 16 and then through 17 and then through 18 at Club Corner. Volakongan looking very flat out on this lap, very clean indeed, and it's at 124.8, not too bad at all. Gary is coming around the final couple of corners just in behind as well. Let's see what he can do. I think he'll go quicker than Volakongan across the line. Yeah, 24.3 goes 5/10 quicker than Volakongan, and Mashiro goes second.
Yep, I was on board with Gary for that entire lap, and it looked very clean. He was half a second up on Volakongan at the second sector split, so just showing the pace of the Renault, and his teammate directly behind him by just under half a tenth there.
Well, the first pun is going to come out of the night. I hope these guys are excelling out on track. It's terrible, I know. It's probably been done so many times in commentaries. Ryan, yeah, he's 500th off Gary, not too far off. Cowboys came now into third. Jonas is fourth. I'm over with Seb, though, and Seb is flying. 101.4 through this middle sector. If that's anything to go by, he'll be in and around Ryan Cowboy sort of area, theoretically, as he now comes through Stowe in the Mercedes, and then through Vale and in towards Club Corners, through 16 and 17. Seb really looking quick. He was quick last night, of course, in Esports Masters League. And across the line he comes. And he goes 6th, 24.4. But look at how close it is. 5 drivers separated by less than a tenth of a second for third down to 7th.
Unbelievable. I'm currently on board with Seb's teammate, AJ, who was purple in Sector 1. So we'll see if he can keep it all together here in the heart of Sector 2 through Magus and Beckett's now. Oh, he's just taken a bit too much curb and invalidated it. So there we go, the commentator's curse there.
First one of the night. Let's hope it's the last one of the night as well, as AJ just invalidates that on his lap. I'm on board with Adam Acko as we come on board. He might come back to me on this one, I think, because he is on a valid lap at 2 minute 3.8. Obviously, either trying to get a banker lap in there or trying to get certainly a valid lap out on track. Let's see what he can do, though. Through Maggots and then through Beckett and then through Chapel onto the hanger straight. This is there or thereabouts, 101.6. He's going to go in and around Alonso sort of area, possibly with this lap. As now he comes through Stowe. Flies out of Stowe. There's the racing point coming through camera shot as he now flies towards Vale and into Club once again. 16 and 17 await him out on track, and then through 17 and now through 18 at Club Corner. Adamaka will improve. Where will he go? He goes 10th, just in behind his teammate. He's only 200ths off, actually, and as the track evolves, I'm sure these times will just get quicker and quicker. We might even see a 23 by the end of qualifying.
Yep, I think we may see a 23 as we got Matt Tibbos crossing the line there with a 24.5. I just saw that on the mini-map. As I'm currently on board with Sway as he is on the run down to Cops as he takes that very smooth and calm. Not using all the track though, so maybe just a little bit of time he can gain there as we go through the Magus and Beckett's complex. All about the run out of Chapel now for him, and it's a 101.6 in the middle sector, so I think that'll put him around Matt Tibbos' Redeemer region at the moment, as he just invalidates, goes too wide there on the exit of Stowe.
And straight into the pit lane he comes as well. AJ is coming round through Stowe as well. He's invalid, I think, as well. He's run out of fuel also, and he's now back into the pit lane as AJ. Cam, however, has just started off on a lap, and Cam, of course, was a newcomer last time out in France, hoping to try and replicate that form. It was a really good performance, bar the penalties. It was a really good performance from him, finishing, I think, still in the top 5. The Cam now through Aintree and onto the Wellington Straight. Come back to me on this one, I think. But looking through the first sector, it's a 26.9 through the first sector, so not too bad at all.
I think that's about a tenth off the front runner's pace in Sector 1. But, of course, Sector 1 can be very tricky just to get the run out of the loop, turn 4. It's very tricky just to get that traction down and coming out of the corner.
So quick coming through Cops through turn 9, then through 10, 11, 12, 13, through Maggots and Beckett's, and then through Chapel at 14, and on towards the final couple of corners. 101.2, there was a moment from somebody out on track.
Yeah, that was James. He just lost the back end then going through Cop's corner. He was thankfully able to catch it, but that was a very scary moment there for TRT James.
Cam's got Ryan in front of him, helping him along. He go quicker ahead of Gary possibly here. Flight out the final corner. Cam across the line. He does go quickest. 24.2. Very clean lap from him. If he just corrected that a little bit sooner, he would have gained about a half a tenth. But Cam out on top of 124.2. And the Tafolsi's getting a sense of deja vu possibly with Vettel and Hamilton maybe.
Yes, and I believe Volokongan is off at the end of sector two. There's a Haas there.
He just came out of Chapel, I think that is. Yeah, through Beckett and then through Chapel. And that is on the run down towards Stowe. And he's spun the car. I think he's probably got caught on that outside curb on the exit. And he's spun the car around. So 24.8 still his personal best. He's only 6/10 off Cam. And the top 13 really close here in qualifying. We normally see quite a close qualifying. I think for Division 2 standards, though, it's looking really good, I think, so far.
This could be a provisional pole time coming from T. Jonas as he comes into Stowe. He is over 2/10 up on his time right now. As he comes into the Vale and Club section. Just got to hook up these final few corners to the line now. Will go the Williams. Is this going to be pole? No! He misses out on just over 300ths of a second.
Oh. Mashiro just having to get out of the way of Cam's AI car running down in towards Stowe. He got the slipstream, and now Mashiro dives into the pit lane. So Mashiro a little bit down on his time, I think, through the middle sector. And now he is into the pit lanes with Demmer as well. We just caught on board with him coming through Luffield, where he caught a little bit of a half spin, and I think that's going to be him back into the pit lane as well. His teammate J. Cole is out there coming through Maggots and Beckett.
Yes, and also we got Gary on a lap as well.
Ooh.
So he's coming towards the
Corboy's retired, out on track. Where was that?
It's on the exit of Cops.
Next to the Cops, which we've just gone through now, and I couldn't see a car there, so it must have got removed. J. Cole now coming through the final couple of corners, though. This is a really good lap from J. Cole, putting him right up there across the line. He goes fourth behind Gary, and the XL guys third, fourth, and fifth currently. Tionas as well went second, and now the top three are separated by 0.05 of a second. Really close in qualifying.
Yep, J. Cole there just splitting the two Renaults up. Get himself fourth place, and honestly this is incredibly close from everyone here on the grid. Just look at that, 0.6 of a second separating first all the way down to 13th. Obviously the final three runners yet to set a lap time of Shwmae, AJ and TRT James, so they're going to be under pressure now coming towards the closing stages of qualifying.
Yeah, AJ's on a lap here. He's on a set of medium compound of tyres currently. He's coming through Stowe and then up towards Vale and towards Club. Looking very good so far from AJ, but of course those mediums, I think he'll go slower out of everyone, and he will definitely not go slower than everyone now because he spun the car coming out of turn 16. A little bit of a weird one that. He got caught on a sleeping policeman, I think, on the inside of the curb, and that is him round coming through. A Seb goes to the top of the times, 124.1.
Yep, and Shwmae has just popped himself up into 11th there with a 24.6. I'm on board with Matt Tibos, who was down by a considerable amount in the middle sector as he crosses the line. He was able to bring it back pretty well in the final sector, so he's definitely got almost 2/10 out there.
Yeah, 24.5, still 10th. I think he was a couple of tenths off that lap that he just set. Shwmae in 11th, Alonso in 12th. But Emma just coming back into the pit lane there. Mashiro, somebody that we haven't focused on much. Oh, go on.
Adamako was around at the exit of Stowe. That was all. Adamako was around.
That was all. I was expecting him to say something else there. Mashiro is on a lap. 24.4 currently. He's on a lap currently. He's a championship leader. He needs to deliver, I think, on this lap. I'm going to take you on board with this from my perspective, because this is really intriguing, I think. The championship leader, he's 16 points clear coming into tonight. He needs to find something out on track, and this could be the lap that could put him potentially on provisional pole with 4.5 minutes to go, just over here in qualifying at Silverstone. Seb is on top, Cam second, Tionis in third. Mashiro coming through Village and then through the loop at turn 4, looking very clean through there. So now it comes out of the loop, very deep exit out of the corner, going very nice indeed. We've just seen a car go into setting a lap there. I think that was TRT James going 11th. The 124.5 through the first sector. I have to squint. It's a 26.8 through the first sector for Mashiro. So he's there or thereabouts so far. So now comes out of Luffield and on the run down towards Woodcock. Gets a little bit wide, catches up a tiny bit of gravel there. You can see on the left tyre, on the left front, as he now comes through. Cops flies here at 190 mile an hour, dead on through there. Perfect from Mashiro. And there is the back shot as well of the car as he now comes through. Maggots, Beckett, and then in towards Chapel. We see the fly through off the camber of the corner, coming through Maggots and Beckett's. Now through Chapel. What is his middle sector like? As a 101.2. He is absolutely flying now out on track. He's got to find a little bit more time, though, I think, to try and trouble Seb and to try and trouble Cam and Tionis as well. As Mashiro out of Stowe. Now through Vale and in towards Club. This could be his one and only chance to get a proper lap in. As he comes around the final corner, Alonso goes 5th, much improved from him. But Mashiro across the line. He goes quickest by 9 thousandths of a second, 124.1. I don't think, though, he's done enough, because look at the gap in behind. It's less than a tenth separating the top 5.
Yes, and the thing is now for Mashiro, that could be his qualifying session over and done with. He can do no more, I think, unless he fueled up for another lap.
No, I think he can come into the pit lane, possibly. It's going to be so close. Volokongan has just run out of fuel. As he now comes into the pit lane as well. And nobody, I don't think, is out on track. J. Cole might be the next one to settle up, I think.
Yeah, J. Cole, the only person out there at the moment on an out lap. I believe Alonso and Mashiro both on cooldown laps. As we got the Ferrari of Cam and the Renault of Gary coming out of the pits now as they go through the loop.
What do Cam and Gary have to do? They're 3rd and 5th currently in this session. They've got less than a tenth to find on Mashiro. What have Cam and Gary got to ideally do at this point in qualifying?
I think they just need just push every single corner just a little bit more than what they did on the previous lap. Maybe just get on the traction just that little bit sooner. Just carry a little bit more speed through the corners, and maybe that will be enough. And as we got J. Cole now just gearing himself up for a brand new flying lap as he comes down into turn 1, and I'll be very close there to an invalidation, I must say, as we go into Village. 3rd gear, opening up the exit and swooping around trying to get a nice exit there out of the loop. Very crucial to get the traction down as early as possible out of turn 4 the loop, so it opens up the Wellington Straight massively. And he's only marginally down as he goes into Brooklands and coming through left field. It's almost like a double apex left field.
And Age, you've got to try and swing it from the outside into the inside of the corner, and that's what J. Cole managed to do there. We haven't seen it much tonight, but J. Cole definitely did manage to do it. Gary and Cam, by the way, have just started up their laps. I'm sure Mike will be going on board with one of them, I'm sure. But J. Cole coming through now. Maggots and Beckett. Alonso has retired, I think, in the pit lane, if I'm not mistaken. As now J. Cole comes through. Chapel. 101.3, he's there or thereabouts, but he's got to find a bit of time. That, to the right-hand side of him, is AJ on an outlap, I do believe. It's one of the two Mercedes anyways. Jekyll now round through Stowe, and then in towards what will be Vale and into Club. Through 16 and 17. Remember Verstappen and Vettel coming together a couple of years back. As now Jekyll comes through the final corner. I don't think he's done enough, to be honest. Across the line, he goes 4th. 124.2. How are Cam and Gary looking?
Well, Cam is marginally up on his time. He was about 800ths of a second up in Sector 1, but he's lost all that time in Sector 2, and he's only marginally up.
And Gary's responding. 101.2 through the middle sector, barely into the 101.2s, but he's there or thereabouts. And Gary now has got to try and find the time. We've literally got the countdown clock going on. 5 seconds left in qualifying. Mashiro's the only one not to sell a lap time. Everyone else is out there. Gary across the line. He goes provisional pole with a 124.1. What is Cam doing though out on track? Cam
didn't improve. He didn't improve.
He didn't improve, and he's invalid, I think, as well. Coming through Abbey and Farm. Jekyll is there. He's just improved.
Yep, Zredema improved up into 5th, just ahead of his teammate. We got Matt Tibos to the line. Marginally improves, but not enough.
Just trying to see who's next out on track. AJ's coming around the final couple of corners. Here's the Mercedes man out on track. He's there or thereabouts across the line. He goes 4th behind his teammate. Seb is coming through Stowe. Not sure what he was doing through the middle sector. He's got a little bit of a toe from Jekyll in front of him, who I don't think is on a lap. But Seb ran the final corner. It's got to respond. 700th of a second to find. Does he find it? No! He goes 400ths off the back of Gary. Gary's still on provisional pole. Tionis now coming through the final couple of corners. What can the Williams man do? CRT James goes up to 12th with a 124.4. Across the line, Tionis goes 2nd. He's 6,000ths off. Volakongan now through the final couple of corners. I think he's invalid coming through there. Volakongan across the line. He improves 24.4. God almighty, 6/10 of a second is separating the whole field, and it's Gary who comes out on top by 6,000ths of that second. Wow!
Unbelievable. We mentioned that Mashiro might not have done enough there, and he definitely didn't. Has Gary there with a fantastic lap to take pole position here at Silverstone.
I don't think I have seen qualifying that close. The top 5 are separated by less than 1/10 of a second, and you've got the top 8 separated by less than 1/10 and a half. Wow. Gary on top from Tionis in 2nd, Seb in 3rd with Mashiro in 4th, AJ 5th with Cam in 6th. So important for the championship. Gary starting ahead of Mashiro by a couple of positions. So Demmer in 7th with J. Cole in 8th and all Alfa Romeo 4th row. With Alonso getting a lapping. Good lap from him within 9th with Ryan in 10th, Cowboy 11th, James in 12th, Volakongan 13th, Matt Tibos 14th, Swain 15th, Adam Acko in 16th, 6/10 of a second in Division 2. That's the closest qualifying by far this season.
Yes, and apart from Adam Mako and Sway, the entire grid separated by less than 4/10 of a second.
That is unbelievable, honestly. That is so unreal from these guys. Hats off to everyone out on track, and we continue with the clear theme out on track as we go in towards the formation lap. But let's have a look at this track once again. 26 laps now await these drivers out on track. 5.8 kilometres in length, around a race distance of about 153 kilometres, just over that in fact. Out of qualifying, what do these guys now have to do from transferring a really good lap in qualifying? What do they have to do to try and transfer it into the race?
Well, first and foremost, they need to keep it clean through turns 1 and 2. It's very easy to make a little bit of contact, pick up a little bit of wing damage, because obviously Abbey and Farm, very fast corners, and it's very easy to just make that little bit of wheel-to-wheel contact and get wing damage or spin.
Yeah, here we go then. Formation lap. Predicting pit stop strategy comes right up. One stop, lap 10 to 13. That is what they say for both the mediums and the hards. I was on board, of course, with Gary. And the top 10, of course, have to start on that set of soft compound of tyres. The qualifying tyre the tyre that they qualified on. Everyone else, though, can go for a different strategy. And Volakongan doing similar to what he did last night, actually, in Esports Masters League. We see Gary come out a little bit sideways, coming out of Aintree there. He's gone for a set of soft compound tyres. Now, he's down in 13th. There he is out on track. He is going to have a distinct advantage coming off the line.
Yeah, Volakongan is going to be crucial for him to get past Cowboy and James immediately. And for Volakongan, I'm wondering if he's maybe thinking about, is there a possibility for an early safety car, VSC, somewhere where he can gain time in the pit stops, because that would be like the best reason to chuck on the softs. And it does give us a little bit of an indication that we could be looking at a full dry race here.
It could be indeed, and I think Volakonga will be trying to go for that one-stop strategy, which the top 10 are going to try for as well. We'll go and focus, though, on the leader in Gary. I'm going to turn my HUD off to run you through the driver's standings out on track. 109 points that Mashiro was on. Gary in second on 93. Swadema in third on 88. Seb in fourth on 82. AJ in fifth on 80. J. Cole in sixth on 77. Matt Tibos in seventh on 62. Kongan in 8th on 55, Jonas in 9th on 53, and Sway in 10th on 52 points, I should say. I'm giving them less points than what I was reading out there. Alonso's the one on 47 points in 11th. Mashiro, though, starting in 4th. Gary in 1st, coming from the front row of the grid. I've got to hand it over to you, Mike. Who's your top 3?
Joe, I'm going to go with Jonas for the win. Gary second, AJ third.
Interesting. Now, I'm going to go Seb for the win. I think Seb might just carry a little bit of pace around this track. Him for the win, Mashiro second, Gary for third. There, you've heard it right. We'll see which one of us, or neither of us, could be right in 26 laps' time, as we now prepare for the red lights to go out, hopefully, out on track. And the red lights are now on here at Silverstone for round 6 of the championship. And it's lights out and away we go. Gary gets a very good start. AJ's got a tremendous start as well. A little bit of a glitch going on. And Tionas is down on the inside. Tionas has got the move done through Abby, through turn 1. Everyone looking clean in behind. And Tionas is through on Gary. Seb is up to third. Cam is trying to dive it down the inside. Needy of Vettel. There's a little bit of front wing. There's a little bit of boards going flying in the background. Not sure what happened there. But Tionas has absolutely bolted away. 6/10 of a second early on from Gary in second. Seb in third. Cam in fourth. And that's running off wide. I think it was Matt Tibos in behind. Mashiro has dropped all the way down as well in 16th position. Tiona still leading. Gary second, seventh. Third. Cam is up the inside coming through the left field. Can the Ferrari and the Mercedes go side by side without making contact? They can. And Cam is now on the inside line running towards Stowe. Seb is on the outside line. One of them is going to have to blink. Neither of them might blink. And Cam has got the move done down the inside. Forces Seb out wide. And Seb has to give up the position. And Cam is through and he's up into third. Brilliant racing between the Ferrari and the Mercedes.
Yep, that was absolutely fantastic from Seb and Cam there. And Matt Tibos there with front wing damage early on. And Mashiro with an absolutely terrible start. Dropping all the way to last place and seemingly struggling right now.
Really struggling. I think he got forced out wide possibly. There was quite a few cars, I think, that concertinaed around him in the back shot. We didn't catch that, certainly from my point of view, because I was too busy focused on the leaders. It's as simple as that. Tionas leads from Gary in second, Cam in third, Seb in fourth. Seb now has desynced the screen, so we'll try and update that as they come through the first sector. But Tionas got an absolute monstrous start, and he's got ahead of Gary, which is crucial.
Yep, and right now, Jonas looking very good out in front, and AJ looking like he's getting pretty close to the rear end of. Is that Cam ahead of him, or is it Seb?
No, it's his teammate, yes. He's on the back of Seb. I think this is fourth and fifth out on track. He was looking quite close as well on lap 1, but wasn't quite close enough. I'm on board with Ryan, who's on the back of Alonso. Alonso's gained 2 positions off the start as well. So good start from him. Let's have a look at the position gains, actually, from all of these guys. And quite a few positives rather than negatives. Matt Tibos is the only one into the pit lane from that lap 1 incident earlier on. Mashiro still going there in 15th position out on track. But the most positions gained, Cam, James and Sway currently share it with 3 positions, as we see Volkongan, I think that is, on the back of Callboy. This is now for 10th, and Callboy on the inside, will try and defend the inside line. Volkongan to the outside line. He can make one corner, one move to defend the position, but Volkongan right around the outside through Stowe. Callboy, makes a little bit of contact. How on earth they've got away with no from wing damage there? It's absolutely unbelievable. And Sway is now through and he's up into 11th that I can spot, I think. J. Cole has got a little bit of damage. Left side end plate in 13th.
Very, very unfortunate for J. Cole if he does have damage. I haven't seen any damage on his car, but right now, looking at Alonso, he's looking very racy behind his Redeemer right now for 6th place. But the thing is, what we're starting to get is a bit of a DRS train, and unfortunately for Seb, he is at the head of this train without DRS.
Yeah, and I'm in the group that's pulling away, to be honest. Cam right on the back of Gary. Tionis leading, Gary second, Cam currently in third. Nobody close enough coming through Brooklands by the looks of it, but Cam gets a tremendous run now through,
AJ.
and AJ's round.
AJ losing the back end on the exit of left field there. Absolute wheel spin off to the right hand side, dropping multiple positions.
Alonso, Ryan, James, and well, that's it. They're the three I think that have gone through on that position. Jake Hall's picked up a 3-second time penalty, no surprise. We're right back on board with Cam though, who tries to chase down Gary who tries to chase down Tionis as well. Nobody, I don't think, is going to be close enough. So is on the back of Seb. Volakongan looking quite close now down the inside of AJ. Down in towards Stowe. Can he get the move done? No. AJ hangs on for 9th position out on track. Adamako right on the back as well of Jekyll. And Jekyll running with that damage. It's not too bad, to be honest, for him. He's still hanging on in there, but he runs wide coming out of Vale and out through Club Corner. And Adamako on a set of mediums looks all over the back of him.
Yeah, and for J. Cole, he's already picked himself up a 3-second time penalty as I believe Volakongan getting onto the grass there.
Goodness me, I rode on board with that, and he was nearly sideways coming through turn 1. That's how close he was to spinning the car.
Cam.
Here comes though Cam on the back of Gary, really closing up to the back. He's got to be careful on that ERS deployment. Volakongan as well on AJ is going down the inside end towards Brooklands. And Volakongan, they've made contact slightly. AJ ran the outside, he retakes a position. Callboy is through on Sway, I think, as well, so he's up in for 11th. Jekyll's still in 13th, Adamako in 14th. There's so much action going on.
Yeah, it's very difficult to keep up. We need a third commentator in here with us.
We need to take Kravitz, get Aiden Carter in here or somebody like that. This is unbelievable stuff. But Tionis leading, Gary second, Cam in third. I've got to be honest, Cam is running all over the back of these guys, but he ran this similar in France because he was running all over the back of the leaders then. He actually took the lead quite early on in France as well. But he looks like he's got the pace. He just needs to keep it consistent, and he needs to keep check of that ERS, because it's what I mentioned last week about his ERS deployment. He's just got to keep that into check onto lap 5. He's got about 40% of it, so it's not too bad currently. Later on in the race, though, it'll begin to whittle down, I think.
Yeah, ERS management is going to be crucial for Cam. And I believe this track, this would be a lot easier to get less penalties, which was an issue for him last week at France. But right now, he's doing a fantastic job in third, keeping the top three on, keeping the top two honest right now in terms of pace. And right now, they have left Seb a bit in the dust spire.
Yeah, Seb in fourth. It's just running wide through Lovefield, trying to get the better exit than Zwadema in behind. And sorry, I'm just sucking on an ice cube there. I've got a very nice drink, a very cold drink beside me, and I try to take advantage of you speaking there, and the ice cube really went down the wrong way. But Zwadema right on the back of Seb for fourth. Seb, unfortunately, is the head of this train, really. And it's spanning all the way back now to James. It's only 5 cars long, but it can be a very difficult place to overtake, especially when you're stuck in a DRS train. But I think Zwadema now is going to go for a full cracking move down towards Stowe. But I don't think he's close enough. He could have easily got past him now, I think, if he used up the overtake mode. But I think he's trying to conserve that ERS, and more importantly, he's trying to conserve those tyres.
As I believe I just saw Cowboy going very wide there at Stowe. Doesn't lose any positions, but that was a very interesting scenic route across Stowe there.
Jake Hall into the pit lane from 13th as he now comes in, and I'm sure Mike will get the action between Zwadema and Seb. They're looking quite close, about 4/10 of a second. We'll run on board with Jake Hall's pit stop though, as he will inevitably go on to a set of medium compound of tyres, and 20 laps are going to be quite difficult. He repairs that front wing, and now he's into the pit lane. Nobody though looking close enough for you, I think.
Yeah, Zwadema is just looks like Seb is just getting the right run out of those corners where he needs to defend, and Zwadema could challenge if he used his overtake a bit more effectively to get past, but he's just really conserving right now, and it will come back to help him in the later stages. But for right now, he's just stuck behind Seb.
Seb had the decency to go through 7th gear there, and that's where he finds the time. And now Shwmae is going to try and have a come at him here, and this is going to be the move down into the inside, coming through Stowe, and that is P4 for Shwmae. He takes it from the takes it by the scruff of the neck. He gets the move done, simple and easy as you like. And Shwmae is now through, and he's up into 4th. Disposes of Seb, but knowing Seb, I think he'll fight this back, no problem at all.
Yeah, and that's going to be the issue around this circuit, that if you get the overtake down into Stowe, it's very easy for the car behind to just stick with you and then make the move then into Brooklands with the other DRS activation point.
Looking on board with the leaders, Giannis has got 40% of ERS running down the Wellington straight. Gary has got now 59, but he did have 70-odd% coming through the loop, which is really him conserving it up and waiting for the right opportunity to try and have a go out on track. Cam there with about 50% as well for him, and these three are just beginning to pull away. Cam, in fact, tries to draw closer to Gary on the run up towards Cops, but he's not close enough. Ryan closing in on Alonso as well, and look at Ryan's conservation of the ERS. He's got 86%. The Renaults are really conserving their ERS to try and have a go later on in this stint, I think.
Yeah, right now, Ryan just right on the back of Alonso. Alonso going a little bit deep there in the exit of Beckett's, and that may compromise him a little bit, but Ryan not close enough to make a move this time around, although Alonso very slow through Stowe.
He was opening the door then and trying to invite him in, I think, to be honest. With Alonso just running wide. He ran wide, but it was just to try and get the better exit out the corner. It's as simple as that. Shwmae set the new fastest lap of the race. He's now beginning to catch the top 3. 1.9 seconds, and he's pulled away from Seb, and he's nearly broken the DRS, in fact, for Seb as well, out on track. We are about a third of the way through here at Silverstone for the British Grand Prix. Really hope you're enjoying things. Giannis leads the way from Gary in 2nd, Cam in 3rd, with Shwmae in 4th. Shwmae is closing in that gap, isn't he? He's 1.7 seconds behind Cam, and he's doing so far everything right to try and close in on the front 3.
Yes, Shwmae doing a fantastic job. He saved his ERS, got past Seb when he needed to, and now it looks like he's just starting to use that ERS now to pull away from Seb and to close in on Cam, who is, I believe, still pretty low on ERS, as I'm on board with Mashiro right now, who's having a torrid time, as we got Volakongan all over the back of AJ as we go into Cops. AJ running off track slightly there, and I think this will be a relatively simple move for Volakongan down the hangar straight.
But remember, Callboy on the set of medium compounded tyres, he looks all over the back of these guys as well, and this is the point in the race where you will really see these mediums begin to come into play. Callboy decides to use up a little bit of overtake mode to draw closer. AJ, though, not having any of it. Giannis into the pit lane from the lead of the race. That, for me, is a very early pit stop as Mako goes side by side with Mashiro. Mashiro, I think, is trying to get this move done around the outside. He's now on the inside line in towards Vale. There he is, right alongside Adamako. Adamako is not having this one, and he fights back the position, and Adamako is through, and he's now going to be up into 10th position because Giannis, AJ, and Volakongan all into the pit lane. And
yep,
Giannis onto a set of mediums.
And now with Giannis into the pits, that takes away the DRS for Gary, so this could be an opportunity for Cam to maybe make the move before the pit stop phases, as he is all over the back of the Renault now as we go through left field. And Cam looking incredibly racy now.
Yeah, right on the back. These guys have just pulled away slightly from Shwmae, and the 2.1 seconds now has just extended out slightly. Gary leading the way. You can see Cam just trying to use up at every opportunity that little bit of overtake mode to try and draw closer to the back of Gary. Right on board as they fly through Max and Beckett's lovely camera angle coming through there. It's now Cam, 4.5 tenths off. He needs to try and get the move done, and he needs to try and get it done now. On the running towards Stowe, he doesn't want to go for a move. That's not going to be his, though. Down the inside goes Cam. Gary gives him the room. These guys might fight towards the pit lane, and Gary is going to find him into the pit lane, and there's contact, and that was going to end in tears. Gary coming across on Cam, and there's a safety car deployed out on track. That was only going to end one way, and to be honest, I think both of them might be at some sort of fault for that.
It's unfortunate there between Gary and Cam, and this was a fantastic opportunity for Gary because Mashiro was absolutely nowhere in this race.
And it's just handed Mashiro basically another chance on a silver platter. It's as simple as that. We're going to be expecting, I think, the safety car to be out for at least 2 or 3 laps, I would imagine. So sit yourselves in. Drama here at Silverstone if you are just tuning in. Gary and Cam having a race, essentially, into the pit lane. 2 into 1 does not go into the pit lane. And sadly for them, as Wadema has undercut Tionis.
Yeah, I was just about to say, it's Wadema taking the net race lead now. The safety car really coming into play there, and Tionis goes from what was the race lead to a net second.
Gary leaves the session in frustration. Cam as well, DNFing out of the race. To be honest, we'll probably get a replay, Cam, hopefully, on that back. Gary looked like he had the car pretty much fully ahead going in towards the pit lane. Cam, I thought, personally, I was watching on board with him, he should have backed out before that pit lane because it was only really going to end one way.
Yeah, that's the risk that you run as you try to go side by side into the pit entry. And as the car behind, you really need to be aware, is the car in front going to pit? And unfortunately, they just weren't on the same page and came together.
Yeah, I'm sure both of them are going to be venting their frustrations out. I'm sure both of them have now left the session, Gary and Cam. So unfortunate. We do thank them, though, of course, for racing here. It's not the result that either of them would have wanted. I am sure the stewards will have a very close look into that. Our professional team, of course, here in Division 2 will have a look at that and have a look with any footage that is submitted, of course, as a result. But that means we've now got an all-Irish 1-2. And it's James and Corboy who now lead the way out on track as we're about to start lap 11 underneath the virtual Burt Marlander. And that is James's instructions possibly to pit in because the pit window is now open for him. Lap 11 to 14 to put on, interestingly, a set of soft compound of tyres. Those softs, my friend, are not going to get to the end of the race from now.
No, that would be a... That would be a very a bold call to pit in and do 15 laps on the sauce, because we got to assume that the safety car is coming in at the end of this lap.
Yeah, Martebos is coming through final couple of corners, through Vale and into Club, just seen that on the mini-map. It could be the case where we are waiting possibly for another lap, as Mashiro has gone through AJ. On AJ and lets him back through. And now AJ's going to let him back through, I think, again as well. A little bit of yo-yo effect going on here underneath the safety car. But this is the thing. Sometimes the coding within this game doesn't know who is the car ahead or who is the car behind. I've seen it so many times from drivers' perspectives in any league race that you go to. You always see underneath the safety car, one of them try and get ahead of the other. And Mashiro, luckily, if he stayed ahead, he would have picked up a 5-place grid penalty for getting ahead of a position that's really not his.
Yeah, and that's just one of the many issues going on with F1 2020 at the moment, and they really should patch it. They really should.
Hashtag esports ready. Yeah, we'll get that trending, I'm sure, in the comment section out on track. Matt Tebos is just closing in. It could be enough for the safety car to come in this lap. The safety car would normally come out of the lights about now.
Yep.
And absolute perfection again. I predicted in Division 1 when it would come out. And there, the safety car and lights have now gone out. And James is now the safety car. He is the one that is controlling this pace. And as long as he keeps this consistent pace up at around 85 mile an hour, he's going to be flying as he will try and get the run through Stowe, I'm sure. As this safety car now will come into the pit lane. Of course, it's got to reach the safety car line. And James backing this pack up towards Vale. Really looking good as Corboy tries to shoot, but now James says go. And James round the final corner. We're now back under green flag racing here in Silverstone. And it is James who's got a tremendous start. 6/10 of a second ahead of Corboy. Sway in third. Adamako in fourth. Wadema in fifth. Look at Alonso right on the back of Ryan. Ryan, in fact, has got the move done. Alonso must have had a pirouette at the final corner for him to get the move done that easily. Here comes Wadema as well on the back of Adamako, but not quite close enough for now. James holds on out in front.
Yeah, I was on board with Ryan. He just got a perfect launch out of the final corner, and Alonso got a pretty mediocre one, and it just allowed Ryan to get that move done as we got Tijonis all over the back as
Oh!
Redeemer.
Goodness me, how close was that to contact? That was inches apart from hitting the back end of that Alfa Romeo in front. And to be honest, lives to fight on another day, but that is the tyres. They have to get up to temperature once again, basically. Didn't really see him weave, and now he's got 7 Ryan to deal with who are on slightly fresher tyres.
Yep, and for Tijonis, this has got to be incredibly frustrating because he had the gap and the undercut on these guys to extend that gap even more, but he's just been thrown back into the mix run because of the safety car.
So Emma was kind of having a look there at Stowe on Adamako. Adamako just ran wide coming through Chapel, gave him a chance, but Emma holding sway. And of course, DRS will not be enabled to lap 14 onto the Wellington straight. So these guys essentially, for another 2 more laps, are going to be racing until that DRS detection point. And that is where, there's a spin on the back when it's Alonso. Alonso's lost it, ran the final corner, just saw that. I think he got caught on the outside curb, if I'm not mistaken. So Adema's now down the inside on Adamako. There's all sorts of action now going on. Adamako shuts the door, rightfully so, I think, and the Racing Point hangs on for 4th. But Alonso looked like he just got caught on the outside curb. I didn't see that properly. And Tijonis now is on the back, and Ryan's on the back of Seb as well. And here comes Ryan on the back of Seb. Can he get the move done around the outside of Brooklands? No. Seb breaks later than him. Tijonis nearly runs into the back of Swadema. There's a lot of action going on here at Silverstone.
Yep, and it looked like Ryan was trying to get a switch back there through Brooklands. Didn't quite work out for him, but he's going to stick behind the Mercedes for right now. But he's got a fantastic run out of left field on Woodcock. He's going to be right underneath the rear wing of the Mercedes, and it's very close out there at the moment. And
really
as we just see the penalty there pop up.
I think Callboy's just let Sway through, if I'm not mistaken, for the second. Sway now up to second, Callboy now down to third. Not sure if he made a slight mistake or anything there. Here comes Seb, though, on the back of Tijonis. No, he's not going to go for the move, and rightfully so. These guys are running in so much dirty air, it's going to fling the cars literally off centre line, coming through the corners, and that is a problem as AJ closes right up to the back of Ryan, right on the brakes, coming through the final corner. Adamako is all out of shape, and now Swadema and Tijonis, it is literally Groundhog Day as they come through. Swadema is throwing it up to 4th, Tijonis throwing it up into 5th, and Adamako is dropping down the positions, and I think that was contact possibly with Swadema and Tijonis. Tijonis, I think, caught a little bit slight contact, and it forced him enough off track, and Adamako's now down all the way to 13th.
Yep, the racing points, it was looking good for him at one point in this race, but now both of them all the way to the back of the queue.
More than halfway through. I can't believe I'm saying that. This race has honestly flown over so far. James leading the way from Sway in second, Corpoy in third. I have a little bit of sense of smugness, to be honest, with my namesake being out in front currently. The Irishman doing a fantastic job. Sway in second, Corby in third, and there's a yellow flag in sector 2, and Adamako is again round through Lovefield, coming through Woodcut. I will just bring up on what you might have said earlier on as well. I'm sure you mispronounced Woodcut as something else, but that might just be my hearing.
I think I said Woodcock.
Machio on the back of AJ, and Adamako's around again, and the Racing Point racers are going from bad to worse. JRT James has picked up a 3-second time penalty further up the field, in fact in the lead of the race, as now Callboy comes into the pit lane. I'm going to set a mediums. Can he go set of softs to the end?
From here, I think he can. Light of fuel, the first run of soft tyres went about 10 laps. I think he can do that.
Yep, set of softs go on, and that is Callboy out of the pit lane. So Callboy now out of the pit lane, and Adamako finally got that car recovered, and he's still going out on track in 14th. Keep on going, my son, Adamako, if you're listening in. Keep on going. Points are there up for the grabs. You never know. Safety car might come out on track. You never know what could happen. The latest series of James Head's advice. I think I may as well quit. Oh, and he's literally retired.
So
He retired, didn't he?
I don't understand why, when there's guaranteed points on the table, just keep going.
Yeah, I think I would have picked him up, 5, 6 points, I think, for 14th. He could have went for fastest lap attempt. It could have been an extra point. That's all I'm saying, really. It could have helped out Racing Point as well in the constructors. We're on board, though, with J. Cole. He's on all the tyres than Volakongan. But Volakongan is under a lot of pressure here from the Brit, as Alonso picks up a 3-second time penalty now out on track. Nobody close enough down in towards Stowe. Tiotti James still leading, and James is making those tyres last really nicely. Same with Shwmae. They're 14, 15 laps old now on that set of mediums, and the further they get into the race, the more they're going to waste away their chance of winning this. But James and Shwmae, the more chance that they've got to try and run these tyres closer to the end of the race, the better their chance will be to try and gain some extra points towards the end.
Yeah, the fresher soft tyres at the end will definitely come into effect, but I mean, we can't forget the fact that I believe Silverstone has the slowest pit lane time of any track on the F1 calendar, so that's going to drop them well down the order.
I think it's about 28 seconds or something like that around here with Silverstone, if I'm not mistaken. Jekyll again all over the back of Volakonga now in the background. Tionis is trying to close in on Zvedema. And so unfortunate, I think, for Zvedema. He's been caught up in Shwmae's dirty air for a few laps now. He hasn't tried to offer himself for that move. If you were Zvedema at this point in time, would you risk it and go for the move? Because Tionis is behind, he's on a lap older tyres. Surely the move should be done sooner rather than later. And as soon as I say that, he's going to go for the move down the inside, and he absolutely sails on by. And yeah, I've just contradicted myself by saying that. So Zvedema threw it up into second. And Shwmae's into the pits. Yep, Shwmae's in as well and behind. Both the AlphaTauri and the Red Bull, of course, sister cars here in Formula 1. AlphaTauri, of course, used to be named as Toro Rosso. Zvedema coming on with the fastest lap of the race. And now he takes the lead of the race by 7/10 of a second from Tionis in second, Seb in third, Ryan in fourth. We've got 9 laps to go out on track. And both Shwmae and James have put on a set of soft compound tyres. This should get out ahead of Cowboy, I think.
I think Cowboy is going to be very close.
They're coming to the end of the pit lane. I'm just watching that on the mini-map. I'm sure we're trying to close in on AJ as well, down in towards Brooklands. Cowboy is just behind.
Well, no, he's just got ahead of him.
Just ahead of his teammate, so not too bad. So he's up to 12th now, Cowboy. He's on a fresh set of soft compounded tyres. And, of course, he will have warmer tyres than the guys around him, James and Shwmae. And that's going to be an all-sister team battle, or sister car battle, I should say, for 11th position potentially out on track. Ryan looking quite quick now on the back of Seb, as AJ just picked up a 3-second time penalty coming through Maggots and Beckett. Ryan is in contention here to potentially get a race win out on track. But looking at those penalties, Ryan, AJ, J. Cole, Alonso, James are the 5 drivers so far that have picked up 3-second time penalties. And just how costly is it, with it being so tight for the top 9, just how costly is it for these guys to pick up a 3-second time penalty? As Shwmae's now picked up another one.
Yeah, it's going to be incredibly costly. Right now, if you haven't got a penalty, but you have 2 warnings, you are taking this track as cautious as you can be.
Cautious is probably everyone's middle name, I think, out on track currently. Seb tries to close in on Tionis. We are on lap 18 out of 26. And so Zvedema is the one that still leads from Tionis in second. Cowboy responds, new fastest lap of the race. AJ's right on the back of Ryan coming out of Brooklands. And again, AJ having a really good race. He's actually starting to transfer his form from qualifying in. But he started this race in 5th position, so he's literally stayed quite stagnant through this race. But the one person that is eye-catching for me, he's made 2 stops out on track. How is Matt Tibos in 9th position?
Safety car. It definitely helped bring Matt Tibos back into it. And for Matt Tibos now, he's in a good position because he's in this train. There's 3 guys ahead with 3-second time penalties. He could be jumping up into P6 by the end of this race as long as he keeps it clean.
Yes. Just having a look at the gap between the leader and down to ninth. It is 3.5 seconds separating the top 9. You could honestly throw a blanket over this field at this stage in the race. Wadema leads on to lap 19. It's Jonas in second. Jonas gets a better run out of Abbey and Farm. And now closes in onto the back through the village section again. Late on the brakes. AJ really close in the background there to a little bit of contact with Ryan. Doing a good job, though. They don't want to Constantine her up because Mashiva's right on the back of this. But here comes Jonas now for the lead of the race. And that is the lead of the race as he absolutely sailed on by. But Jonas is through. Zwadema, though, on a lap fresher tyres, all he's got to do, really, is just stick to the coattails.
Yeah, and looking at the ERS usage as well, AJ and Mashiro both struggling very low on... Oh, sorry, yeah, I didn't press spectate on Mashiro. AJ struggling very low on ERS right now. Redeemer got a decent amount, same as Tijonas, so top 3 relatively similar on ERS. Ryan is starting to dip down into the 30s, into the 20s now.
Redeemer closing in on the back of Tionis, running down and towards Stowe. Nobody close enough though. Ryan doing a good job to stick on the coattails of Seb. Seb, to be honest, out of this front 3, has got the most ERS that he can deploy out on track. He's got 78%. Wadema, 73%. Tionis using up at the final corner now towards 50% as he tries to lengthen away and try and break, I think, the DRS toll out through Abbey and Farm. Seb right on the back as Wadema. He could go for the dive down the inside and towards turn 3, I should say. But not close enough as they come through the loop section for the 20th excursion around here at the Silverstone Circuit, the home of British motorsport and the home, of course, of the first ever F1 Grand Prix in 1950. Tionis leading the way from Zwadema in second. Tionis is really reliant on that overtake mode, isn't he? Because he's at second now, basically, clear as Zwadema. The more he uses up this overtake mode, I just get a sense that Zwadema and Seb will come back at him later on in the race.
Yeah, and as Tijonas uses up his ERS, I mean, he's already down to 24%. Zwadema, all he needs to do is just use his ERS at crucial points, like the run out of Cops, like he just used, just to get himself within that DRS window. And the DRS will help bring him back into it, and then late in the race, he'll have more ERS to just cruise on by.
Well, Seb's hardly got a toe on the back of Zwadema now. He's now a second off, basically. And Ryan had a good chance there. He's got a lack of ERS. He's got about 20% of ERS left. He's just got to try and conserve that up. But he's in a promising position. I think he could do Seb and try and catch the front 2 as Jonas pulls away. Sets a new fastest lap of the race, but it's 7/10 of a second now out on track. As we start lap 21 out of 26, Shwmae and Cowboy are side by side on the run down towards Cops, and that is how the teammates do fight, and that is how you get a move done around the outside and towards Cops. Shwmae is through up into P12.
Yep, and just looking at Mashiro right now, I think Mashiro seems to be much quicker than AJ through Abbey and Farm and Village, but he just doesn't seem to get that traction out of the loop to really have a go down at the end of the Wellington straight into Brooklands.
I believe I've just had our regular third commentator just appear up as well. I heard a cat there in the background, as that is Cowboy that is round, coming through Farm. Seen that on the mini-map, not sure what happened there. He might have just got a little bit too greedy on the curb. And Cowboy now down to P13. He might have been on that for position anyways, but going to try his utmost to try and come back out on track. Tionis in the lead, Wadema in second. Nobody again close enough down and towards Stowe close enough. But with just 5 more laps to go, I hope you are on the edge of your seat, nearly as much as I am here in the commentary box, and nearly as soon as much as Mike is, I'm sure, trying to take care of that cat.
There is no cat in my room this time.
Oh, I heard like a little phew, like that. It wasn't on my end, certainly, so I don't know where that came from. I'm just hearing things, honestly. Tionis leading the way from Zwadema in second, Seb in third, Ryan in fourth, AJ in fifth position. A reminder as well, position gains, 6 positions for Ryan, 6 positions for Volokong and Matt Tibos up 5 as well. And this race is going to come down to the absolute wires. Swadema is just there. He is just right on the back of Tionis. I think one move and Swadema could win this whole thing. He's got a lap pressure tyres. A lap pressure tyres, in terms of tyre wear, it's about 5%, I think, difference on a per lap. So Swadema will have 5% tyres quicker and more durable than Tionis ahead.
Yeah, but the real question is now, does Redeemer make this move, or does he stick behind and wait until the final lap to make the move?
It's risky. You've got to weigh up your options, to be honest, because Seb is flying in behind him. He wants to be careful. He doesn't want to be too conservative, because if he's too conservative, I think Redeemer is going to be under pressure from Seb at some point or another in these next 5 laps or so. Tionis currently is holding that position for merit. Swadema in second, Seb in third. I just feel if Swadema tries to get the move done, it's going to work a little bit in a disadvantage in his favour, because Seb is looking quicker in behind. If he goes for the move, Tionis is only going to come back at him. So it's a bit of a 50-50, to be honest, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I'm looking at the options for Redeemer right now, because he is looking like he is the quicker driver, and of course, if he gets ahead of Tionis, he would need to push with all of his ERS to break DRS, and that would throw all the advantage to Seb right now, who's still sitting at 75% ERS and is using a bit now coming out of left field as we run down the old pit, the pit straight towards the old turn 1 of Cobb's Corner.
And now Shwmae lines up on James down the inside in towards Brooklyn. He's already got that move done. Purposely not on board with this battle because they were getting quite close. Shwmae is through and he's up into 11th position. Easy as you like on James. And now Swadema has got a chance. He's using up the overtake mode. This is the time. This is the place to try and get the move done. He pulls along side and Romeo is ahead. Swadema is through into the lead of the race. Tionis has now got to try and fight this back. But he's going to be at a critical point, I think, with his tyres. His tyres look a little bit shot, to be honest, on the rears. And Seb now is going to try and fault that up towards Abbey and Farm as he closes in. We've got 3 more laps to go. Goodness knows what's going to happen in these final 3 laps as Redeemer runs out wide and now Tionis tries to get the run. Seb's got the run on both of them, but none of them goes for the move as Tionis nearly taps the back end there of Redeemer. James is back through, though, down the inside through... That was Stowe, and James is back through and he's up into 11th on the mini-map.
Yep, and the soft tyres not really factoring in here as looks like Cowboy has made an extra pit stop in favour of the fastest lap point, and that's a smart call from Cowboy there, but James and Shwmae not really closing in as much as they would have hoped to.
Mashivo was looking quite close on the back of AJ, suddenly beginning to pick up the pace now. Mashivo out on track. He's still within a favourable chance. That is more favourable because Ryan has just picked up a 3-second time penalty, and that now puts him up into 6 seconds worth of penalties. Alonso's on 9 seconds, and AJ's also got 6. The rest have got 3, apart from Shwmae, who's got 6 as well. Seb trying to close in on Tionis, but that move has been sealed by Swadema for now as they got 2.25 laps to go. Swadema leads, Tionis in second, Seb in third. If you've got nails, prepare to bite them for these final 2 laps. As AJ's into the pit lane and retires. AJ into the pit lane and retires. I'm not sure what that was about. He's left in quite a hurry. I can only think he's been called somewhere.
That's incredibly confusing there
for
AJ. He was on for some... I mean, I know he had a few penalties to his name, but he was still on for some decent points here today.
He could have scored top 9 easily. Ryan now on the back of Seb, trying to get the move done. Down in towards Brooklands. Oh, he goes down the inside. Can he get the move done? That gap is always going to shut. Oh, Seb makes a little bit of contact with him. And now Ryan tries to get it around the outside, but I think Ryan is going to be out on the dirty air. Yep, and Seb is back through. And he's up into third, and Ryan is going to try and use up every amount of that overtake mode up towards Cops. But it's not going to be enough. Seb remains in P3. That was close, though, to a little bit of contact. And that could be, possibly, something that we see over this final lap and a half.
Yep, as the top 3 They're going to be bunching up. Ryan knows that all he's doing in this little battle going on by here is just being a nuisance. He's being a spanner in the works here for Seb. I'm pretty sure Seb will not be too happy knowing that Ryan's not really in this battle.
Well, I'm just really impressed, actually, with Seb, how he's closed back up onto the back. After that little bit of contact, he's now all over the back of the front, too. Zwadema and Tionis lead us onto the final lap of the race. Get prepared for this one, because this could be wild and wacky races. Part 3, Zwadema leading the way from Tionis in second. Seb is all over the back of him, now up towards Brooklyn, through Brooklands? Where am I getting that from? Through the village section and then through the loop and then into towards Aintrees. But Emma currently holding on, but now Tionis is going to use up that overtake mode. He has got to go for this move, I think, down the hanger straight and try and break the hearts and the dreams of the Dutchman ahead. But Zwadema hanging on, half a lap to go.
Yep, and Mashiro, he's lost DRS on Ryan up ahead, so now Mashiro under pressure from Volokongan.
And it's between the top 4. It is now definitely between the top 4 potentially for the win. Possibly the top 3. It's now Matt Tibos closes up on J. Cole. Trying to go down the inside and towards Cops. He doesn't try and get the move done though. It is still so close to Cole. I don't know who's going to win this one. Zwadema is going to have a good run out of Maggots and Beckett's, and that's exactly the run you want. And now Zwadema has got to defend for his life. Running down in towards Cops. I think he's done enough now. I think he realises it as well. He turns down the overtake mode. Now, through Cops for the final time, Zwadema is hanging on, but Tionis is still there. He's got a little bit more of overtake mode up to use up. But Zwadema, round the final corner, it's going to be a Dutch victory here at Silverstone. Zwadema wins for the Alfa Romeo team. Tionis in second, Seb in third. Ryan's going to drop down, with Mashiro now up to fourth. Volokongan in fifth, Matsibel sixth, Jekyll seventh, Ryan all the way down to eighth in the end. Sway tries to go around the outside of Sway. Sway around the outside of James, in fact, and he tries to get the move done around the outside. Cowboy's still going for that fastest lap, and James, much later on the brakes, tries to get it, but Sway now right on the back. Can he get the final run at the final corner? No, he runs out of fuel, and James picks up P10, Sway in P11. Good fight to the end between them both. And Cowboy, what could have it been for Cowboy out on track? But I can say with confidence he's going to get the fastest lap of the race, even if he doesn't improve, as everyone else has finished. 26.3, the fastest lap for him, so he will take that extra final point for the fastest lap. Zwadema, 0.4 of a second from...
And I'm already sending the invite out for the party.
Now, Cowboy.
It's a terrible pun. Out on track, and we will get, hopefully, the top 3 in. I know 2 of them will be eking to join, I am sure. And Mike, because you're giving out the invite still,
That was a fantastic race at Silverstone.
That had absolutely everything in it. Battles throughout the entire race. Controversy with Cam and Gary's collision into the pit lane, which I'm sure will be discussed with the stewards. I can assure you on that one. We had AJ just, for some reason, final lap, just deciding to up and leave out of nowhere.
Yeah, very strange. Very strange. I think back. I don't think it's the first time he's actually done that either. So obviously, maybe time constraints got in his way. Possibly, we don't know. There might have been a failure of his equipment. Who knows? We're not going to speculate. Hopefully, we might get some sort of response from him either. Or tuning in tonight. I know how hard it is going to be out there for the next few weeks up until Christmas. Certainly here in the UK, but we are going to try and bring you as much normality as possible here in TTML. And of course, you can go and follow me and Mike on Twitter. Tom Zaggers in the behind-the-scenes commentary box, I guess. He's not behind me. He's not behind Mike either, unless he's randomly came to me right now. But he does all the camera work, and it's absolutely fantastic to see the graphics presented in a unique and brilliant way. And I think we are just taking the graphics from strength to strength, and hopefully we might see a brand new addition in terms of that. There's certainly talks going on that I know of that might be seeing the commentary team taken to a whole new level with the introduction of something very special indeed. Have you given the invites out, by the way, to the top three?
Yeah, the invites are out.
Hopefully they'll be able to join in our group. Of course, there's no parties now that PS4 and PS5 have now been intertwined. And tomorrow night, we do it all over again. Division 4 and 5 are going to be live for you tomorrow night. It is, of course, going to be Graham Chappell and Corboy taking you through Division 4. Hopefully the stream will start on time. And for Division 5, it is myself and Daniel Hoggard taking you through the action, where I hope I'm actually going to be able to sign in for once on a Friday night. We'll see how successful that attempt is going to be later on. But I think, hopefully, we're going to get Shwmae in. I'll give him a minute to join. We have got Tionis and Seb that have just came in here. I want to try and do first, second and third, so that's why I'm waiting on Shwmae to come on. But we'll go to Mike, actually. Mike, who was your driver of the day?
I think I'm going to have to give it to... It's going to be a boring one, but it's going to have to go to his Redeemer. He didn't put a foot wrong that entire race. He did get a little bit fortunate with the safety car as he joins the party now, but yeah, he did absolutely nothing wrong that entire race. Brilliant drive from him, and he gets my driver of the day.
It's as if you call his name and he joins the parties. Shwmae is now here, and he has taken the win this time out, or this round, I should say, for round 6 of the championship here at Silverstone. You must be happy with that one.
Yeah, it was a really good race, I guess. Like the first time I actually leading a train. Normally, I'm always stuck in trains on this game, and I guess, like Mike said, I didn't really put a foot wrong. Like I did everything right. Yeah, pretty flawless, I guess.
7th on the grid. I think that safety car was really your helping in disguise, to be honest, because that safety car brought you perspective of the race.
I think I would have been close to him either way, but it definitely helped. I think I would still have a shot even if there wasn't a safety car. I think there was still a chance I could win, but the safety car definitely helped.
I like the confidence. I really do. I like the confidence. Is that your second win of the season as well, if I'm not mistaken?
I don't think so.
Is it your first win of the season? I
won China, but who was it? AJ got his penalty removed because he had like a 5 seconds penalty behind the safety car.
That's right. That is right. So you finished second instead of first in China. That's where I'm going wrong. Mentally, I knew you'd won a race, but I didn't think it was taken off. That's why. Mike, any questions for Shwmae?
It just looked like you just had a lot of fun out there battling for the entire race. But that move on Tijonas at the end, how nervous were you after making that move about picking up a 3-second time penalty?
Not nervous at all. I didn't even have a warning, I'm pretty sure. Plus, I find it quite hard to get warnings on this track. So.
Right, and I think that was the only question I had. I'm out of questions.
I was expecting him to say something else. That's why there was a little bit of quietness going on there. My final question, though, to you is that we go to Spa next week. Now, Spa hasn't been a fabled track for you, certainly in League of Europe. How do you think you're going to get on in TTML next round?
I'm hoping that's not going to be like LOE, because I'm really good on the track on any other league except for LOE. So I hope it continues like all the other leagues.
We might see you again here next week, perhaps.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. We'll have to see. We'll have to wait and find out. And now we have got the man in second here, Tionis. And Tionis, your response to what Shwmae said about the safety car, first of all, that undercut, from my perspective, certainly, brought Shwmae the race win. Do you feel that had an impact on you going further into the race?
I guess it had an impact. I'm sure that Shwmae would have been up there either way and fought for it, but it definitely was an advantage to him. I was lucky to keep the place behind him. I was, before going for the undercut, I was 2.5 seconds in front, I think, and I think I was on a quite good outlap, so yeah, I think I would have been ahead, but the question is if he would maybe have catched up. I felt that my pace was good, so I wanted to fight for the win, but yeah, I'm happy for second as well, and it was a great fight with Shwmae.
Yeah, you had a really good race out on track, and you and Shwmae had a really good battle a couple of laps before the end of the race. You didn't really want to give up that position, did you?
To be honest, I didn't fight it with everything I got, because I thought that I could get ahead on a later lap. My strategy was really to be behind on the last lap and go ahead, but I really struggled with my exit. I guess I might have gotten a bit nervous and didn't really hit my lines in the in the Maggots and Beckets, but yeah, I'm just happy to be on the podium. I haven't really been on pace so far this season, so it's fun to be up there with the big guns.
It's fantastic to have you here in the interview room with us as well. Mike, any questions for Tionis?
I think you covered it with the safety car, because I was the only thing I was going to ask, and whether or not he thought the safety car cost him the win. And the only other question I was going to ask him was about his ERS usage, because it did seem like for a lot of it you were struggling compared to Seb and Shwmae on your ERS usage.
When I passed Shwmae, like, I don't know how many laps it was left, but the last time I was ahead, I really just I used everything I got because I wanted to make a gap over a second, so I just gave it everything and hoped for the best, just to try to get out of the DRS window. And I think I was so close to getting out of it, but yeah, Shwmae's response was great, so he reeled me in again, and then I tried to save up to the last attack, but I just didn't get the power down when I needed to.
Right,
I think that might be everything from Mike again. Final question from my perspective, same one as with Shwmae. How do you think you're going to get on next week in Belgium?
Hopefully it's going to be good. The thing that's been very good this week is that I've had TNRL, like my main league, on Monday, and we raced in Silverstone, so I had quite a bit of practice, and I think that it lines quite good next week as well, so yeah, hopefully I'll be up there with, maybe not fighting for the win every race, but hopefully be up there in the top 5, yeah, up there and be in the mix. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the next race, and it was really a good one for me today.
You never know, you might be back here next week in the same position at about 9:15 on a Thursday night. There we are. Thank you, Tianis. We now move on to Seb, who is here. Last but not least, it is Seb who finished in P3. And Seb, you had really good pace, I've got to say, around that track. Why did you not go for the race win?
Well, I mean, I tried to. It was just, the DRS trains, especially around Silverstone, they're really difficult. The two ahead, they had good pace as well, so it was difficult to find a place to overtake. I tried turn 3, but they had too much speed coming out the second coming out turn 2, so I couldn't get the move done there. And I wanted to go for the win, but I also was thinking, good points, it would be worth it. So I don't want to risk too much. I've had some incidents recently, so I just kind of kept it cool. I tried, but happens. I guess you can't always get the moves done.
DRS train, the failing, I think, out on track. I think we can be fair to say.
Yeah, I think.
And go on.
I think it's just when you're like third and fourth man in the DRS train, it's really difficult. Really difficult to get past. You kind of have to. I was hoping that the two ahead would battle and then slow each other up so I could maybe pounce, but it didn't happen. They both did a really good job, kept it clean. So yeah.
And talking about that safety car, did it do you a bit of an advantage or a disadvantage? Because Cam and Gary obviously were fighting towards the pit lane, they crashed, but vice versa. Do you think that was an advantage or disadvantage to you?
It was a massive advantage. I had no pace on the softs. I was really struggling with understeer, and I had no pace compared to the guys around me. So when the safety car came out, I was so happy. It came at literally the perfect time. Obviously Tianis got out ahead, but I was still happy with to come out in that position, I knew I needed to keep it together. It's always quite nerve-wracking on a safety car restart. Not to spin with cold tyres or anything. So, I just kept it together but I was just happy. It came at literally the perfect time. I come through Stowe and then safety car deployed. I was like, yes.
Fantastic result though to finish in third. Mike, any questions?
Just a question, whether he knows what happened with his teammate.
I've no idea. I think he just you want about at the start of the race?
No, just at the end, he just came into the pits from, I believe it was just behind you in P5 or something.
Yeah, he was behind Ryan. Yeah, I literally had no idea. I thought maybe he got damage or something and was just rage quitting, but it turns out I don't know. I have no idea. He just came into the pits and I had no idea. I wasn't talking to him, so.
I thought you might have been in a party with him or something.
No.
So unfortunate, I think, for AJ. Not obviously finishing does Mercedes a little bit of a damage in the constructors as well. Yeah,
it's just a shame because McLaren are there. I think Sauber, Alfa Romeo are there. Still made that mistake. There's a few teams there, so I guess it's good to have both cars finishing, but we'll see. It's still got a few races left to go, so we'll see what happens.
And the final basic question, moving on to next race at Belgium, how do you think you're going to get on around there?
Usually I'm quite fast around Spa. I love the track. I mean, it's really flowing. It helps being on a wheel as well. I mean, it's usually, I think, a wheel track or considered a wheel track. It's just a good, or usually a good track for me, but hopefully anything can happen. So, hopefully we can get a good result.
Hopefully you might be landing yourself in the same position next week, having an interview from myself and Mike.
Hopefully 2 more places up.
2 more places up. I like it. I like the confidence. That is all then. Thank you, Seb. Thank you, Swadema. Thank you, Tianis, as well, for all of your interviews and your thoughts and analysis of that race. That is the end for us here tonight, here at Silverstone. Of course, we go to Belgium next week, but tomorrow night, more importantly, Division 4 and 5 is going to be happening. Graham Chappell and Cowboy taking you through Division 4, and then Division 5, it is myself and Daniel Hoggard taking you through that one. And then on Saturday, it's somebody's very special birthday. I wonder who that could be. It's not Mike, it's me.
I was going to say, it's not my birthday yet. Don't get me excited.
It is. Yeah, it's my birthday on Saturday. I'm really looking forward to it. However, I can't spend it with you guys at TTML, but you can come and tune in as well to League of Europe Division 1, where I'm sure it's going to be a fantastic race around Mexico City in Mexico. And of course, it's from 6:40 p.m. if you want to come in and tune in and wish me a very happy birthday. But I'm not expecting anything from any of you, honestly. That is the end, then, for tonight here at Britain. Thank you so much for tuning in. Myself and Mike will see you next week, of course, in Belgium. But, from us, goodbye.
Goodbye.